Someone commented on a YouTube video recently asking me to explain why is it that hotel sex is the best. He and his wife had recently scheduled a staycation. They booked a nice hotel for themselves downtown and near the city where they lived, and they had banging, orgasmic, explosive sex in that hotel. Now, at the same time, I've also had people write to me saying, we booked this hotel and the sex sucked. We got into a fight. We tried a new toy that went horribly wrong, and I put all of this money and expectation towards this great hotel sex, and it didn't happen. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why hotel sex is the best, the things that make it awesome, and then I'm going to explain how to guarantee an awesome time when you are booking a hotel, whether that's for a sexy reason or for a non-sexy reason, but you're gonna have some sex inside of the hotel. You know, when someone's like, hey, you're traveling for business and pleasure, why not a little bit of both? Even better if your company's paying for the hotel. I feel like that's a turn on in itself. Rolling it all the way back, let's begin with what makes hotel sex so hot. All right, number one, and longtime viewers of this channel will know that this is especially true for women's sexuality, the power of novelty. The human brain really benefits from an injection of novelty, something that is unique and interesting and new. It turns on our brains and on our bodies in ways that the same old environment just really can't. And that's because new environments trigger dopamine, which increases excitement and arousal. The adventure of being somewhere new creates a sense of connection, a sense of fun that you just can't get in your own bedroom. I mean, even if you decide to start having sex in the living room, it's still very familiar. You're not going to get the same kind of rush of those excited, desirous chemicals that you will if you are surrounded by a completely new setting. I mean, just think about the difference between going to the same grocery store that you always go to, or the same breakfast place that you always go to, and then suddenly you're exploring something brand new. You're seeing things through different eyes. You're noticing different items at the store. Maybe that's because it's a new store, but maybe it's just because they're in a different place. You are aroused in a way, and I don't even just mean sexually, that you just can't be when you're used to seeing the same thing in the same way. Number two, the luxury of letting go. If you're at a hotel, that means no chores. Someone else is gonna clean this bathroom and make this bed later. Bomb. Your kids, your pets, the things that you are responsible for are not with you. You're not responsible in the same way, which means that you have more focus and more attention to put on each other. Also, it is indulgent to get into clean, crisp sheets in a bed that someone else made and towels that somebody else washed. Not to mention that you don't have to think about making a mess and having to clean it up because someone else is going to do that for you, which allows you to just relax. I know that I'm speaking for way more than just myself when I say there's a little voice in the back of our head or a little nagging, I'm going to say forest elf or something, on our shoulder that when we are making a mess in our own home is ugh, we're gonna have to clean this up later. Yes, honey, let's mash berries all over each other or whatever, but am I gonna wanna wash these sheets later? Is that gonna, right? We get rid of that little voice and all of the energy that little voice was taking up from us, all the distraction that it was creating is no more, and boom, we are in the moment, able to more deeply relax and be present. Number three, hotels are perfect for role playing and generally being playful. They invite creativity. It is not just a trope of the couple role playing, pretending that they're strangers meeting in the hotel bar for the first time. There's a reason that story is so popular. It's because it's fun and it's very possible and it's very easy to do when you are in new settings, when you're inside of a hotel. You can, if that's your thing, pretend to pick each other up in the hotel lobby or at the bar. You can slide your room key to your partner and tell them to meet you upstairs in 10 minutes. But if role play really isn't your thing, that is okay. Allow a different part of you as you to come out when you are surrounded by the different vibes of this hotel. So maybe your home is very modern, but the hotel that you're staying at is very classic. Maybe you're kind of a maximalist and you're staying inside of a minimalist space. Allow your settings to express a different part of you and also a playful part of you. This is sort of like a blank slate, a white page that you get to draw anything that you want on, and you don't have to be responsible for it in the same way that you do at home because you're in a hotel. It's time bound. You check in, you check out. That creates a container in which you can play and experiment and try all kinds of new things together, and it doesn't quote unquote count. Because when we enter into a liminal space, like a hotel is, a transition space, a temporary space, we can give ourselves permission to be different than we typically would be. You've probably experienced that on vacation for yourself. Go out in a new town, in a new country, and you see a different side of yourself be released. Hotels do the same thing. Next, heightened sensory appeal. Now, this is not true for all hotels. Certainly, I myself can say that I have stayed in a really wide variety of hotels. I once stayed at a hotel that had some blood on the sheets in the first room that I stayed at, and then got a new room and there was blood on those sheets too. That was just that vibe of the hotel. I slept in the second room because I was exhausted, and then I figured we shouldn't try for a third at that point. I've also stayed at some really, really, really nice hotels. Some like plush, like chandeliers, giant bathtubs, 4-poster beds. There's a sexy photo shoot of me in one of those in particular. Luxurious settings in particular, but hotels very broadly engage multiple senses. Bedding, lighting, different fragrances, it's all different. And all of these things engage our senses, our sight, our smell, our touch, sound, taste, and all of those things can help us to be present in the experience, present in our bodies. We don't know really until we are experienced with different sensory things how much of our body is just processing being in the same space on a regular basis. When all of these things are different, we turn on a different part of ourselves. Our brain is tracking this information more closely. Our brain is like, these sheets don't feel the same as my sheets, and this doesn't smell the same as my home. And the lighting here is really soft. It's all uplighting. You and I look more attractive inside of this kind of light. All of these things create a different atmosphere. They create a different sensory awareness for us, and that is inherently kind of arousing. Next up, hotels create an escape from the ordinary. A hotel room is free from not just the visual clutter of your daily life, but also the emotional clutter of your daily life. Plus, depending on, where you live or the setup of your home, you might be in a situation where no one can hear you. Right? You're like in a hotel. Your kids aren't in the room next door, or your mom or your mother-in-law is not, across the hall, or whatever. You have privacy in a way that you don't usually have. All of this allows you to break out of your norm and focus on each other. It's a similar experience to when you swap out your normal car and you rent like a convertible. It just invites a different experience. Finally, hotels are the perfect backdrop for freedom and exploration. You get privacy, you have a new setting, and you are allowed to let go of your inhibition. So they are the perfect place to experiment with new positions, new toys, fantasies, things that feel out of reach at home. And again, part of that is because the container, the check-in, the check-out, we get to do whatever we want while we are here. All right, let's talk about how to have great hotel sex. What can you do to set yourself up to win and have an awesome experience? Number one, keep your expectations realistic. Don't put too much pressure on having the best sex ever just because you rented a hotel. Now, I've just gone over all of the reasons that a hotel is going to create a context in which great sex could happen. But when you put too much pressure on the moment and you're like, oh, we spent $700 in this hotel room and $300 on laundry and toys, this better be amazing. That's like not exactly the kind of erotic energy that I want you to bring into this place, right? I want you to allow the experience to unfold naturally. I want you to celebrate the fact that you made the reservation and you brought the lingerie, and that is enough. If you focus and prioritize having connection and pleasure and fun rather than achieving some kind of fantasy or like perfect outcome that you had in your mind, you will be setting yourself up for success. And then make the bar for success low. Celebrate even just that we got here. Celebrate that we're trading massages. Celebrate that we watched a video or we did some breath work together, or that we slept naked together for the first time in a while. Like, make every little thing a celebration, and then find how they stack up on top of each other. Inject your entire experience with celebration and gratitude and not expectations. Number two, consider a staycation. You need not book airplane tickets or travel hours and hours away from your home in order to have an awesome experience in a hotel. Hotels near your home, hotels in your city can create the same magic. It makes it a lot more affordable if you are driving, an hour or less in order to get there. You could eat food at home that day. You can get to the hotel. You can spend the night there. You don't have to budget for other travel or other things in order to have a great experience. Just get into a new environment and enjoy. But make sure also, if you are doing that, that you're including other new things too, like try a new restaurant, for example, just so that you're creating a totally new and fresh experience. Now, remember to pack the essentials. You are gonna wanna bring toys and accessories and maybe even lingerie in order to elevate the experience and add even more things that make it unique and special. I highly recommend that you make sure that all of the batteries are charged to all of your toys to avoid any sort of mid-moment surprises. Maybe even bring the chargers with you. This might also be a great opportunity for you to try some like new bondage or BDSM stuff. So if you've been thinking about using some like rope ties, if you've been thinking about doing a little bit of blindfold or ball gag stuff, like hotels are a great place to experiment with that, but make sure that you are well versed and educated in what you are doing before you get there. You want to make sure that you have done your research before you try any of those things, whether you're trying them at home or on the road. Also, include a travel size bottle or something that is easy to travel with, of massage oil, of your favorite lube. Bring the things that will create extra sensory experiences, especially if you're going for maybe a hotel that's not known for its like amazing aesthetic. You can still make it that way. Pack, a little LED light, a little vibey light, some fairy lights, a candle or two, or a blindfold, and you won't even know. Here's another pro tip. Set the mood. Create a little extra spaciousness in your calendar. Arrive early if you can, maybe even split up, whoever's planning your hotel getaway. Go in there, set the lights just right. Play some music. Oh, I should have mentioned, bring a little Bluetooth speaker. Don't rely on them to have the speaker. Bring the speaker and bring your playlist. And then in addition, maybe scatter some rose petals, have some chocolate, get some champagne delivered, bring your own if you're on a budget. Set up the space in advance. It's gonna let your lover know that you care and that you were thoughtful about this, but also it takes this like special container and makes it more personal and more specific and even more special. Next, plan an adventure. Do something fun. It could be like going to the hotel spa. It could be as simple as having a cocktail at the bar, could be eating room service in your bathrobes, but all of these things create additional novelty and they help you to build anticipation. Don't just like run to the room and start getting it in. I mean, that could be fun, but remember that putting like little obstacles in the way makes things even more exciting. So say like, set a boundary, like we're not even allowed to have any genital touch until after dinner or until after dessert. Or maybe we go out, we get dinner, and then we order dessert to our room, and all we're allowed to do until room service delivers the dessert is like shower and make out. Something along those lines. Remember that putting obstacles in always makes things more memorable and more exciting. Another tip is to get excited. Play with the energy even before you get to the hotel. Be flirting with each other. Think of this as sort of foreplay. Tell each other what you're looking forward to. Keep little surprises and little excitement, but make little hints about what you're going to do when you get there. And if you are going to do some kind of role play in the hotel, establish your characters beforehand so that you're not trying to think of things on the spot, which is me. If you've watched this channel for a long time, thank you. And make sure you're subscribed, by the way, whether this is your first or 400th video. When I try to come up with something like a good metaphor or some kind of analogy, or, if I'm trying to like improv something on the spot, it's not as good as if I gave it just like a little bit of thought beforehand. So you don't need to prepare, it's not Dungeons and Dragons. You don't need to like have a full character profile, although maybe that works for you, but like create a name and a vibe and like maybe a way of speaking and some like favorite things about the character that you are role playing so that you feel confident when you get there. And then try new things. Like I said before, a hotel is the perfect place to try something new. Maybe that's a new position. You could check out my thrusting and positions masterclass if you want some inspiration on how to jazz up your physicality, your actual sex positions and thrusting when you are in that hotel. Try a new location. If you have a hotel that has like different kinds of furniture, or hop into the shower or the bath together, or try some kind of fantasy. The unfamiliar setting makes trying new things feel way more natural, because like what's the difference between Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday if you're at your house and you're like, well, we want to try a new sex toy, but like how and when? Like the hotel is the perfect environment that just invites that. And then make sure to be a good guest. Hotels do give you a lot of freedom, but don't go too overboard. Be mindful of the shared spaces, the public spaces in the hotel as you're like running around and getting all frisky and flirty. Remember that they have cameras everywhere, including in the stairwells, but sometimes they don't have cameras in the stairwells. And don't totally wreck your room. I don't care if you are a rock star or not. No one wants to leave that hotel without their deposit or to be disrespectful to the staff. And finally, make sure you leave some time to relax and decompress. It might be tempting to, want to just get to the hotel, get it in and get out, but make sure that you also build some downtime to just enjoy each other's company without pressure. Whether that is taking a soak in the bathtub, having a cuddle, watching a movie. And on that note, make sure that you enjoy the morning after. Share breakfast in bed from room service, or get in one more round before you return to reality. Call them as soon as you get there and ask if you can get a late checkout, etc. Make sure that you have some spaciousness around the experience to really allow it to soak in and get the most out of it. So in short, be realistic about your expectations, prioritize connection and fun, make sure that you inject everything with some novelty. This is a great time to try new sex positions or accessories, make that a memorable experience. And of course, you'll get the most if you go into hotel sex with an adventurous, open, and celebratory mindset that allows you to champion the intimacy and the novelty that is possible between you and in your relationship. Woo! This was a lot of my thoughts on hotel sex. Thank you so much for coming with me on this journey and for subscribing to my channel, and I will see you here later this week. Bye!